They crucified hope. But one man refused to kneel. What began as a bid for freedom became Rome's worst nightmare. Armies fell, consuls bled. The Senate trembled, and Spartacus, kept marching. Rome turned to its cruelest general, Crassus. He gave no speech, no plea. Just a sword raised, he fought until his sword broke. And then with his bare hands, Part 2. The fire from Vesuvius lit more than a Roman camp. It lit a spark across Italy. Word of the escape spread like a fever. Across estates and villas, in the shadowed corners of kitchens and workshops, among shackled hands and tired backs, slaves whispered a single name, Spartacus, and they came. They came barefoot in chains, some still bleeding from lashes, men, women, Gauls, Thracians, Syrians, Ethiopians, all cast into bondage by the Roman machine, all drawn by the same impossible hope, freedom. In months, Spartacus's force grew from a handful to thousands, not an army, but a tide. They had no discipline, no formation, no formal training, but what they lacked in tactics, they made up for in rage. And Spartacus, he was no ordinary rebel. He trained them, he fed them, he united them. He turned a mob into something more. Rome responded with contempt. Again, another praetor, another small force, another humiliation. In battle after battle, the rebels struck from forests, from hills, from behind Roman lines. Guerrilla warfare in a land unaccustomed to it. They knew the land, they knew the pain, and they fought with nothing to lose. They raided convoys, seized Roman arms, took cities, looted villas, and everywhere they went, slaves rose up and joined. By 72 BCE, their numbers had swelled beyond 50,000. But with success came danger, not just from without, but within. Spartacus faced new challenges. Not all his followers shared his vision. Some fought for loot, some wanted vengeance, others wanted to settle, to carve out territory in Italy. Spartacus wanted none of it. He had no dream of ruling Rome, only of leaving it behind. His plan: march north, cross the Alps, scatter, live free. But the Alps were far, and the way was blocked. Two Roman consuls, Lucius Gellius and Gnaeus Lentulus, were now dispatched, each leading armies hardened by war. For the first time, the Senate was afraid. In a brilliant move, Spartacus divided his forces. While one group drew the consul, Gellius, into battle in the south, Spartacus ambushed Lentulus in the north, routing his legions before wheeling back and destroying Gellius' rear guard. It was a masterstroke. Two Roman armies shattered, but victory bred tension. His men tasted Roman blood. Their confidence swelled. Many refused to cross the Alps. They wanted Rome. And so Spartacus turned back south. Now the Senate panicked. They called upon Marcus Licinius Crassus, the richest man in Rome. A cold, calculating general who had no intention of repeating his predecessor's mistakes. Crassus restored discipline to the Roman ranks with brutal clarity. When one legion broke formation, he revived an ancient punishment: decimation. Every 10th man executed by his comrades. It worked. The Romans advanced with precision and cruelty. They drove Spartacus into the southernmost tip of Italy, into the heel of the boot. Trapped, Spartacus sought an escape. He struck a deal with Cilician pirates to ferry his army across to Sicily, where he could raise another slave revolt and renew his campaign. But the pirates betrayed him, took the gold, vanished. Spartacus was stranded, and Crassus was closing in. To stop any retreat, Crassus ordered a vast trench and wall, fortifications spanning 60 kilometers to pen the rebels in. And yet, Spartacus broke out. Under cover of darkness and in a blinding storm, his men filled a section of the trench with earth and corpses, crossed it, and escaped once more into the Italian hills. But time was no longer on their side. The rebellion was fracturing. Splinter groups broke off. Greedy, reckless, exposed. Crassus hunted them down one by one. Spartacus, still undefeated, knew the end was near. He refused to surrender. Instead, he prepared for one final battle. Spring 71 BCE. The winds of Italy carried a silence, heavy and final. Spartacus stood before his army, no longer rebels but warriors hardened by fire, hunger, and blood. Some bore scars from dozens of battles. Others knew this would be their first and their last. Behind them, no escape. Before them, Crassus. 8 Roman legions. Over 40,000 trained, disciplined soldiers. Fresh, well-fed, unbroken. Spartacus had fewer than 30,000 left. Many wounded, many starving, none willing to surrender. He didn't give a speech, no grand rhetoric, no plea for courage. He simply lifted his sword, pointed to the Roman lines, and said what needed to be said. If we must die, let it be on our feet, and with Roman blood on our blades. And then he charged. Not from behind his men, not from a fortified hill. Spartacus led from the front, straight into the heart of the Roman center. His blade cut down a centurion, then another and another. He fought like a storm, like a myth made flesh. And wherever he went, his men followed. They smashed through shields, drove wedges between formations, broke Roman cohesion. For a moment, just a moment, the Romans faltered. Spartacus could see Crassus, not far, surrounded by guards, watching. He surged forward, cutting through the last line, but the gap closed. A Roman spear pierced his thigh. He stumbled. Another struck his side. A third slashed across his chest. But still, he rose. He fought until his sword broke, and then with bare hands, until he vanished beneath the tide of steel. They never found his body. Only the blood and the silence. The battle was over. The rebel army was crushed. Spartacus was gone. His dream of freedom shattered on the bloodied fields of southern Italy. But the story did not end with the fall of a single man. In the aftermath, Crassus ordered the brutal punishment of thousands of captured slaves. Over 6,000 were crucified along the Appian Way, a terrifying warning to any who might dare defy Rome. The road to Rome became a path of agony, lined with the broken bodies of men and women who fought not for glory, but for liberty. Yet, despite this horrific repression, the rebellion had already shaken the foundations of the Republic. Rome's leaders, terrified of further uprisings, began to reconsider how they controlled their vast empire. Military reforms followed. Laws on slavery became stricter, and yet the fear lingered. For years, the legend of Spartacus haunted Rome's imagination, a symbol of resistance that could never be fully extinguished. From the dust of defeat rose stories whispered in secret, tales of courage, defiance, and the unbreakable human spirit. The rebellion also exposed the fragile fault lines within Roman society, the tensions between the powerful elite and the oppressed masses. It was a harsh reminder that beneath Rome's glittering facade, the empire was built on the backs of millions who had no voice, no rights, and no hope. In many ways, Spartacus became more than a man. He became an idea, a spark that would ignite future generations, centuries later, to fight for justice and freedom. His revolt, though crushed, challenged the very notion of power, control, and the meaning of liberty itself. And for Rome, the rebellion left a legacy that would echo through history. A warning that even the mightiest empire could tremble before the will of those it sought to enslave. Spartacus may have fallen, but his story lives on, a timeless testament to the fight for freedom against all odds. His rebellion was more than just a clash of armies. It was a battle for the very soul of humanity. Through the ages, Spartacus has inspired countless voices to rise, reminding us that even in the darkest moments, hope can ignite a revolution. So what does Spartacus's legacy mean for us today? Is the spirit of rebellion alive within each of us, waiting for the right moment to break free? History is never just about the past. It's a mirror reflecting the challenges we face now. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What lessons can we learn from the revolt of Spartacus? Could such a rebellion happen in our modern world? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters. If you've been moved by this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic journeys through history. Together, let's uncover the echoes of the past that still shape our future.